It's not using a gun, it's computer. Yes, James. Not sound at all.
Ah, there we go. I can see all 4 people now.
Okay, perfect. But we cannot see you.
Okay.
We can see you now. We can hear you, but we cannot hear James. Maybe we can go without him. Who need this old guy? You know, just we like you too, James. Dave, and now you understand why I lost all my hair. I'm trying to educate you with online with all these guys. Actually, I was 10 years younger before I started this project. So we will not stop. I will try to unmute him now. James, can you hear us?
I can hear you, yeah.
There we go. Woo!
Oh. We got it?
You are the man. Guys, let's catch him now, so before he disappears. Dave, by the way, they will ask you questions. Be careful. These guys are dangerous. We will record everything and use it against you in the end.
I've got so much video footage that can get used against me. Just look at Jamesy Reed's phone.
Okay, so we ready?
Yep.
I'm James Reed, Director of Book Your Hunt here in North America, and I'm here with Alex McDonald. He's Director of Book Your Hunt Africa, and Dave Davenport. He's a professional hunter in South Africa. He's got an outfit in the Eastern Cape called Leopard's Valley Safaris. And Dave, your property's pretty unique. I've been there, been fortunate to hunt there with you. And tell us a little bit about your property. It's been in the family for 7 generations, I believe you said, since the 1700s.
We're traditionally sheep farmers. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, I'm the first hunter in the family, or professional hunter. And the very cool thing about the Eastern Cape, though, is it's one of the 7 most biodiverse areas on the planet. Okay, right up there with, you know, the Amazon and everything. It's one of the 7 most biodiverse places on the planet. Within a 200-kilometer space, you can go from the coastal forests and dune habitat right through the actual Karoo. You can hit the mountains and the mountain habitats, and then we go right up into the snow line, which is a grassland. So, you know, the variety of game that we can have in a very short period of time naturally occurring is massive. So we take advantage of that.
Yeah, well, I know when I hunted with you, you had everything from your typical plains game out on the flats to, I mean, rugged mountains. We were hunting the ridges behind your place for the Cape Kudu, and then the mountain reed buck, and you know, it was just amazing the diversity you could have in one hunt at one place. So I mean, it was great fun and real interesting that way. And
you know, when you're a custodian of land, you're actually looking after the land. The land and the habitat and the bushes and the trees and the grasses is actually what you are ranching with, farming with, protecting. That's what you're protecting. Everything else is just a byproduct. We have what's called Karoo bushes, which are actually little trees, and they're reported to be up to 200 years old, you know. So these little bushes are out there, and so I can talk about this for days, Jeff. So
Cool. So Dave, one question. I guess you're traveling a lot. You've been traveling a lot before this lockdown and whatever stuff. So you have a mentality not only a professional hunter, but you also have a mentality of custodian of the land, like you said. So do you have the same attitude to the land when you're going to some unusual places? I don't know. Are you going somewhere in Texas and you see the part of land you have the same mentality when you look at that, or you just like switch it off? So, or is it always built in yourself, like just, I want to take care about this piece of land, about this subject?
No, I don't, unfortunately. I was in England. My son went on a school exchange. So we were in the Lake District, and there's a lot of sheep farmers out there in these little stone paddocks and stuff. Oh man, I was in all the little pubs at night trying to find sheep farmers, trying to talk to them about what do they do and how do they deal with parasite loads and how do they do their grazing. And my wife was just like, hey, I want to go see a castle somewhere.
We know that's the reason you were in the pubs, Dave, with scientific research.
Exactly my point. You know what I'm saying?
Alex, you like me, or we've all known Dave for a long time, and I showed up at his place, and I didn't take a rifle this time, so I was using Dave's rifle, and he tells me, he says that my rifle's all sighted in. He said, I just shot a baboon at 400 yards. I said, all right. So we go out, clear up this mountain first morning, and we're sneaking along this rim rock, and I look down, and here's this big, beautiful kudu bull, horn tips worn down, big old bull, and he's just right below us. And so he spots us, and he runs out of the ways, and oof, I take a shot, and Dave says, you missed him. And I said, I couldn't have missed him. I was even holding low, so I didn't shoot over him. And he said, you missed him. So we walked down, and no blood. So we're driving around, and he's giving me crap about missing this kudu. And we run across a jackal. Well, actually, a couple of jackals. And he said, Jimmy, shoot the jackal. So I jump out. Doof, I shoot, and I miss the jackal. I put another one in. Doof, I miss the jackal. He's like, give me that. And he takes the gun away from me. And he shoots, and he misses, and he shoots, he misses. I'm handing bullets, and finally, boom, he hits the jackal. And I said, well, you got him. And he says, yeah, but I was aiming a foot low. So we go to the range, and we check the gun, and it was like, I forget how far off, but it was a lot. So it wasn't my shooting. It was my PH's rifle. But Dave, the one thing that you've got that's, besides your stuff around home there, is you have an area for Vol rebuck it's amazing, and it's an exclusive area. And tell us a little bit about your area there, and then we'll talk about my hunt that I did with you there.
Yeah. What I learned very quickly, James, was that don't give a client your rifle, because you'll take a perfectly good shooting rifle and totally destroy it. But getting to the Vol rebuck, area, again, we're talking about livestock ranches, and it's all low fence cattle area. But he's got Vol rebuck running all over the place. You know what I mean? And they're not worth anything to him because they're not really good eating or anything like that. They're kind of like a fallow deer or a goat. Certain time of year, their meat's not great. So they're not worth anything. So I went up to him and I said, listen, I will give you X amount of money for Vol rebuck, but we only need to take off 4 a year because, they're not a lot there. And so we got into an arrangement. And that's what we've been doing there. We've been managing that property for a while now, where we only take off 4 a year. And we only take off the very, 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 big ones. And every year we've got big ones. And that's the fantastic thing about this area.
When I first came to Africa, you want to hunt all the romantic species. You want to hunt the big kudu, and you want to hunt gemsbuck and all this stuff. And, a Vol rebuck's kind of the last thing on your list usually. But you talk to all the PHs, and you ask them their favorite hunt, and they all talk about hunting volleys and going to the mountain and hunting Vol rebuck. And I'm just like, it looks like a big spiked white-tailed deer, And I just couldn't get excited about them. But the more I was around all you PHs at the meetings and stuff, everybody had me intrigued with wanting to hunt them. So finally, Dave told me, he says, you need to come hunt these things. And they said, it's a tough hunt. We need to go, and we'll get all kitted out. So I took my mountain hunting stuff and backpacks, and me and Dave get all kitted out for a 2-day hunt. He said, well, these are at least 2 days. And so we've got tents and backpacks and our mountain hunting boots. And so we drive over to this area he's got, and we meet up with the farmer that owns the place, and we talk to him. We get all sorted out where we're going to stay. And So we drive up into the mountains and we park the truck, and Dave says, oh, there's this big valley, and these Valrebuck, they hang in the very back of this valley up in the high country, so we'll start hiking clear back in there. And so we got our backpacks full of everything, the tracker, he's packing water, and we're walking up the bottom. There's kind of a creek there. We're walking up the bottom of the creek, and I looked over and I said, what about that one? And, you know, Dave's not a very excitable guy, and he turns around and he's like, shoot it, get down, shoot. And so I said, well, I want to get closer. He's like, oh, you can't get closer. These things are spooky, you know. So we dropped down in this creek and we stalked in. We finally get about 300 yards, I think it was, and the little critter, he hops up on a rock there, and doof, I got him. We walked up there, and it was a 9 3/4 inch Valrebuck, Dave, I think it was, which is, you know, rolling board record book Valrebuck, and we weren't even a mile from the truck. The tracker just picked it up and put it on his shoulder and walked back to the truck. I said, yeah, these things are tough, Dave, you know.
See, this is the importance of using a really skilled professional guide that can take a 2-day hunt and be done by 9 a.m. in the morning. I mean, we spent more time driving there than we did hunting, you know, so
and then I guess, again, after that, you went to the bar to make a scientific research.
No, what was even funnier is we were driving out. We loaded this in he says, I promise you, he says, it's never like this. And his PH had just been there, and they spent, 4 days trying to find one, and they got a nice one. And we were there. We didn't even hunt a half hour, and we had this bigger one than they got. And Dave's telling me, man, it just doesn't happen like this. And we're driving out. 30 yards from the truck is one almost as big as the one I shot. So, anyway, it's quite a place. But yeah, then we went and did some scientific research on the way back about holistic hoof action and stuff like that. We actually stopped and got new tires put on Dave's truck, and we since we had time, and the guy that has the tire shop, he had some new help working in there, and they put the new tires on Dave's truck, and off we go out of town. And we just get out of town. We're going, I don't know, maybe 45 or 50 miles an hour, and all of a sudden this truck goes into the death wobble from hell. I mean, it's literally coming apart at the seams. It's just and Dave's getting all excited, and he thinks that the world's coming to an end.
I didn't see that. How did the truck go?
And again, as I tell you, Dave's not an excitable person, we know. And so he gets stopped, and he's white as a ghost. He's hanging on the steering wheel. And so I said, well, let's check the lug nuts. So we looked, and the lug nuts are okay. Well, we went back to the tire shop, and this guy had just taken the tires off and put the new ones on and never taken the old weights off and didn't balance the new ones. So the wheels were still balanced for the old tires. We put the new ones on, so it was double unbalanced. So anyway, we got it balanced, and we were cruising on the way home. So.
Dave, one question. So we've seen that you have this long hair guy in your place. So we know he can shoot. So we know he can party, but he's not drinking, so he's not an interesting guy. So can you tell us?
I'm working on that. Can you
please tell us a story about the most crazy client without giving any names? So just any crazy hunt just like popping up in your mind.
When I was younger and, learning the plies of my trade, we used to bounce around from different outfitter to different outfitter, work per day wage. And then you come across some very interesting people from different parts of the world. And being a green PH, it was the very first time that I'd met, without getting in any trouble here, let's just call them a certain demographic in Europe that has a lot of sunshine and are mad about pigs. Anyway, so first hunt with one of these gentlemen, and we have a language issue, because I don't really speak that language, and off we go. And we're fresh out of the gate, and this guy starts, Pagachero! I'm like, hey, whoa, what's going on here? And I'm driving, he's on the back. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't see the bump, but there are going to be lots of bumps, so you're going to have to get used to this story, you know. No, pagachero. I'm like, listen, mate. I said I was sorry, you know what I mean? You know, no, pagachero. I'm getting out there, man. I'm starting to roll my sleeves up. I'm like, listen, pal, we're going to have an issue here, you know what I mean? I'm sorry about the bump, but, you know, and I understand, you know, we're in the bush here, but this is, you know, no, pagachero. I'm like, listen, you bastard, this is going to get real quick. So I turn the guy around, flash off back to the lodge, and I go back to the outfit, and I'm like, listen, mate, we're going to have a serious issue here. We're not even in the bush yet, and this guy's freaking pagacheroing me here like big time. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I went through this little bump, and this guy starts pagacheroing, yeah. I mean, I'm an average sort of kind of guy, you know what I mean? But this is a little over the top, you know, and even for me, you know? So he starts laughing, and his agent starts laughing, and I'm standing there looking like a fool, and I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? So apparently, pagachero means razor tooth in Spanish. And he had seen a warthog off the back of the truck, and he was trying to show me the warthog. So, this was lost in translation. Big lesson learned. Pagachero is pig, and not what you thought it was. So, but I mean, these guys are funny. I mean, you'll be walking through the bush, stalking a kudu, and you're in like, you know, freaking Chuck Norris mode, and you're in there, and you like checking the wind and everything, and next thing, boom! Pagachero! And you're like, whoa, what? And then a pig had jumped up, and this guy just decided that that's what he wanted. And the kudu goes, and you just sit there going, you know what? Give me all your bullets, mate. We're on a new protocol now on this hunt.
One of the things that I find interesting is Dave's this big, tough PH, you know, he hunts plains game, he hunts dangerous game. He goes to Mozambique, hunts dangerous game, he hunts Cape Buffalo, and I seem to recall that he got severely injured one time, but it wasn't by a Cape Buffalo or an elephant or lion. What was it? I think it was a domestic cow, wasn't it?
A bovine. Bovine family. Bovine.
I saw the pictures. I thought, man, he got knocked out by a Cape Buffalo. They're carrying him on the stretcher, neck brace. It was a cow.
What?
Yeah. Listen, to my defense, there was more than one. There was about 4. And they were in a shoot. And my very brave help weren't so brave when it came to time. And so when I stood there by myself, faced them down, found out I wasn't as tough as I thought I was. Apparently, 4 big steers are stronger than you are. You know, 20 feet into the air, flick flacks. Free helicopter ride to the hospital was fun.
I was going to say, it was
not that great.
In all seriousness, it was pretty bad.
Young nurse putting in a catheter is not as great as you might think. Mm-hmm.
It broke your neck too, didn't it? Or
yeah, I broke my neck 3 different places. So,
Yeah.
did you know that, Alex?
I had no idea. You're talking about a bovine initially. I thought, man, this guy's been taken out by a buffalo, and I didn't hear about that story. But
well, that's what I saw the pictures, Alex, and I asked him. I said, well, you got hit by a buffalo, didn't you? Because we was talking about a friend of mine that unfortunately had been killed by a buffalo, and I said, well, you got hit by a buffalo, didn't you? And he goes, well, it wasn't exactly a buffalo. Have you had some close calls with dangerous game though?
Yeah, Black Death has given me a scare or 2. I've only ever been charged once. It was an unprovoked charge. My client saved my life. He was an 86-year-old Korean war vet. I was a new PH. We were tracking in a straight direction on the tracks. We had bumped above. He was a Duggar boy. He was all on his own. We bumped him 3-4 times, and he just was tired of being pushed, I suppose. And he did a little circle around, and client was on my right. I was facing forward, and I just heard that, and that freaking branches breaking. And by the time I turned around, old Jim Jim from Carolinas, he'd turn around and between the eyes, right here on my right-hand side. That's about the closest I've ever been coming from a black death. Other than that, I've been more sharp and more on the ball and stopped them before they got close to me.
And it can happen fast. I've kind of experienced both with hunting elephant in Botswana. When I shot my bull, we was charged both sides by young bulls, and luckily we waved them off. But like you, I've had a buffalo in Mozambique. I came out of the papyrus. I shot him at literally just a few feet, right between the eyes, and it'll get the blood pumping for sure. How about you, Alex?
Like Dave, I've only had one. It was a buffalo that was shot, but I think it had no idea that we were there. We shot it and it picked a direction to run, and so it ran our direction, and it ran through a little gully which we couldn't see anything inside the gully. It was so overgrown. By the time it came out, it had just seen us at say 10 yards, and fright became flight. So he was just running in our direction. When he came out of that thicket, we were just in his way, and you could just see it in his eyes. He was now in full charge, and we were fortunate. I mean, I put in a couple of shots, but my client put in some good shots too. Whether it was the first or the last shot that killed the buffalo, who knows? But I mean, it can happen like that. And it wasn't that he charged us initially. So, like David, that was my one and only experience. And I firmly believe, that, prevention's better than cure. You got to be as sharp as possible, but anything can happen out there. There's so many variables that you got to take into consideration. And, these things happen. And most of the times, or a lot of the times, like you said, they're unprovoked. They could be tied up in a snare, or have been shot by some of the villagers out in the communal lands, and you're just not on the ball. You're not thinking about a buffalo being wounded or an elephant being wounded. And that's when a charge can happen. The other one, actually, that wasn't a charge, but it was quite a scary situation, was with Alexia, and that was a lion that came and investigated.
That's one of my favorite stories, man. I had to make you write that for Sports of Field. We actually published that one in Sports of Field. It was such a good story. We need to hear that one from the man himself.
It was my first ever hunt in Africa. First ever just with a lion sitting and breathing into my ear, just like that was. This was the day when I said, it's my time to go. Maybe just like, okay, I've shot some stuff. Just maybe it's my turn now. Just like it's time to pay back. And we were sitting with this guy on the other side from my screen. Just like we were sitting.
This guy.
Yeah, making just some fun, and then in the end it was not so funny.
I'll tell you what was funny though. I mean, yeah, it was scary. It really was scary. That lion, we saw that he was coming from one direction, and the baboon started making a noise. Stupidly, being the young PH at the time, I kind of stuck my head out a little bit out of the peephole to see if the lion was coming or where he was coming from, where I predicted he would come from. Corner of my eye, I saw him down on the other side, and he was looking straight at the blind, with his mouth open and the tail wagging, and he knew that we were there. So that fury tail, I'm sure you've seen how those lions are angry like that. But and that was only at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's all this daylight. And I just stood back and I said to Alexi, "We got to sit tight. We got to wait. Just got to wait this out. Maybe he comes and maybe he doesn't. But we got to try and see what he does." Anyways, started getting late, and another lion started calling, and this one started calling, and these lions were coming closer and closer. So we had 2 lions now all of a sudden. And in the middle of all of this, I've got a camera. I filmed this all. I've got a camera. I switched it on, and we've got a serval cat jumping up into the tree, eating the bait. So there's no lion on bait. The lions are shouting at each other, roaring at each other. We stuck in the middle, and in the meantime, the serval cat's busy eating the bait. So in the back of your mind, in the area. Anyway, it gets dark. It's full moon. Lions are quiet, but I know that this one's close by, and he comes around the back, and I see him just just sneak past one of my peepholes. And I think, oh goodness. And first thing you got to do is try and control the emotions of your client. But it's very difficult when your heart's beating like this as well. And this is, being a young PH, it's the same thing. And this lion came and he stuck his nose in my peephole. And to try and explain what's going on at this point in time, Alexi was he knew what was going on up until this point. And it's very difficult to tell him, listen, the lion's head is in the blind. So, and it's a little tent. I mean, it's a pop-up blind, like your deer blinds, James. It's just this little, that's what you got between you and this lion. And we're on a hill. And so I got the 4.58 barrel pointed at this lion's muzzle. It decides to go around us, but it slips on a rock now that we're on this hill. And this rock rolls down and hits Alexi in the back. And I can just see I can just sense that he is now decided this is the end. We're done. I mean, that there's a lion behind you and this rock hits you in the back. That's no fun. And it starts pushing its nose against the blind. I mean, the whole blind's shaking like this. Anyway, the lion goes. To make a long story short, we eventually shoot the lion. He goes back to the bait, and we get a good shot at him. And we're walking up to this lion, and everyone's on edge. We know that there's another lion somewhere around us. So we're walking up to this lion, not sure if he's 100% dead or what's going on. And we find it, and it's congratulations. This is Alexi's first hunt. It's a big deal. We've just gone through an amazing experience that very few people get to experience. And while we kind of relaxing and calming ourselves down, we look to our left, and there's this serval cat sitting right next to us. And it's just loaded guns, and everyone's like, what is going on? This is the great thing about the PHs. We were discussing that earlier, Alexi, when we were on a different call. But I mean, they're so diverse. You got to be professional, and you've got to, be a great guide. But you got to have some humor, and you got to be able to fix a truck, be able to cook something. You got to be able to have a good time around the campfire with your clients. And I think Dave, if anything, personifies what that is. And we were talking about it. It's called the Crazy Nation, the professional hunters. They're unique. They're a species on their own. I think we've just seen that now with Dave. And I think we've all got that experience with Dave at some of the conventions that we go to. So often after a couple of beers that we start hearing these stories. But, it's exciting. And that's what's exciting about this podcast series. We're going to get to know a whole bunch of PHs and these stories, and it's really, really exciting. And to talk about after a couple of beers, Dave, I seem to recall that after one of the AGMs, a lot of the PHs were saying, Dave, he's the hunt master, he's the Jägermeister.
I've only ever been on one safari with young Alex McDonald, and what happened is that we were hunting for Jägermeister, very, very elusive, late at night in an establishment. But unfortunately, we ran out of shooting light. But that wasn't going to deter myself and the young Alex. So we went on in our quest as professional hunters, looking for the exclusive and elusive Jägermeister. Eventually, we found it behind a wooden
fallen over a tree
hiding spot. And as the young McDonald was climbing over the top, the anti-poaching units came in from the sides and reminded us that we were past shooting light and that the hunting season for that particular night was over. We then sheepishly went back to our chairs. But we weren't empty-handed, were we, sir? Payment was made the next morning for the trophy fees of the Jägermeister that was taken after shooting light.
you have a lovely family, lovely kids. If one day one of your kids coming to you and saying, "Dad, I want to be a professional hunter," what will you say?
There's a lot of easier ways to make money, my boy. you know, what, Alexi, what we do, I mean, there's a lot of easier ways to make money. I mean, but what we do is so much deeper than making money. I mean, I live out in the middle of nowhere. We're on lockdown, but I don't feel it. I mean, we're running on a completely solar system here, so I've got no power outages. My water is all pumped from wells, from solar. I've got this Wi-Fi that gets routed to Helengon, to the nearest civilization. That's my only link to the outside world. So even on lockdown, we are going for walks, and I got my mother-in-law here because she runs a guest house for me in town. I said, look, guest house is closed, just come out here. And she said something interesting to me. She said to me, this is so cool. She says, I can walk in 30 different directions in 30 different days and still not go to the same place. And I think that is what gets us PHs to do what we do. It's just that I don't know if I could live in a city. So my boy can do whatever he wants to do. You know what I mean? I don't know if he'll become an astronaut because he's got dad's mathematical abilities, but he can do anything he wants to do. I'm not going to hold him back. And if he wants to get involved in this industry, I'm going to help him as much as I can. I'll help him like I helped one of my other professional hunters. I'm going to say to him, come hunt with me. Go and hunt with Uncle Alex down here. Go and hunt with, a host of different professional hunters who I hold in high regard to teach him different skill sets from different professional hunters, because each guy hunts differently, deals with certain things differently, and I want him to learn all of that. And that's what I did with one or two of my first professional hunters. So he can decide if he wants to live this lifestyle. It's a great lifestyle. I'm not going to lie. It is a great lifestyle. But he's going to realize that, you know what I mean? You are going to go through some tough times, like all people, rural people. I mean, agriculture, it's the same thing. We're all in the same sort of similar boat, But it's a great lifestyle, mate. I'm not going to lie.
Tough lifestyle, Dave. We saw that everyone, South Africa, Southern Africa went through quite a major drought, and now all of a sudden we got this pandemic and we don't have clients. Fortunately, we've come out of the drought a little bit. Are you guys seeing rain, and how is this pandemic affecting you? I'm looking at the overall picture.
Yeah, it's tough times out there, but you got to stay positive. A lot of our clients are taking advantage of a special that we're having out now. I actually have that special on BookYourHunt, where we are having guys put on a small deposit now, helps us with cash flow. And for 3 years, you can come and hunt with us. We'll lock down your prices. You get a good deal because we know your business is suffering too. I mean, the clients are suffering too. I mean, coronavirus is shutting down the whole world. So when our clients' businesses have recovered in 2-3 years' time, they can still come and hunt at now's prices. So it's a win-win type of deal. And that is sort of helping us through right now. But I think a lot of outfitters are going to have brave, smiley faces, but they beat it. They're taking a beating, man.
Dave, what can you say, like a special message to potential clients who still believe that Africa is the place that should be visited by every hunter in the world?
You and James have hunted all over the world, so you've got a better perspective than I have. I've only really hunted here, but from what I hear, Africa is one of God's gift to hunting. From what I've heard from people, with the Corona situation, it's very difficult to tell a client to put his life in danger and come. We do have the two schools of thought, where this thing is serious, and the other school of thought where it's not that serious. But that's not a decision for me to make for a guy that's got a family, or has a wife or kids, to put himself in or not put himself in danger. So I do believe people need to come to Africa and experience it. Africa is so unique. You can hunt in South Africa for you can do 7 days, 4 animals for like $3,500. Airport pickup to drop off, including animals. I mean, that's cheaper than a guided deer hunt. I mean, that's cheaper than anything you can get in Texas. Not anything, but you know what I'm trying to say is it's a very, very, very affordable hunt in Africa. And at the same time, you can then go to the big hunts. You know what I mean? People must get away from the concept or perception that Africa is too expensive. I definitely do think that you have to experience Africa. I think you must find an outfitter that you think you're going to get on well with. There's a lot of good guys out there, a lot of good guys. Like Alex, you pointed in the beginning of this whole thing, was that no matter where you go in the world, similar type of people do this kind of work. It's a similar personality. It's a similar type. It's a similar, we all, you know, and the good guys, I would say, are all great guys. I mean, I've got so many mates that are professional hunters because we are similar people. So do your research. Make sure that you're going to go to where you want to go and go do it. Coronavirus, it's up to you, mate. I don't want to put anybody's life in danger or not in danger. I think that's a personal decision when they want to travel. Getting here is the trick. I think once you are here, you know, social distancing is what we do. I mean, there's nobody out here, you know what I mean? But I would say to any hunters out there, do it once in your lifetime. You'll come back. It's affordable, and it's going to be a hunt of a lifetime. I can guarantee you that.
I want to send some positive vibes and positive information, because just a couple of days ago we finished the survey among our visitors. 76% of all people, we will take the first chance to go to a hunt whenever the ban is open. And only 10%, or maybe a little bit more, 12% of hunters who answered questions, they are concerned about the corona stuff and probably postpone all the traveling because of that. All the other guys saying, just give us a chance. We cannot control all these travel bans. So it's, of course, it's the matter of the government to set that. But the passion is there. Hunters want to come, and we will be happy to send them to guys like you are, because you have this passion inside you. You have this smile inside you. You have this brave heart mentality. So Dave, thank you for your time today. So guys, I'm really happy that we have such partners like Dave. And actually, Dave, you're actually the first guy who are making this interview, and it was unanimous decision, like, to start with you, because you're unique and you're one of a kind.
At Book Your Hunt, we're serious about hunting. But behind the scenes, things aren't always so serious. We like to call that Crazy Nation. If you like what we did, give us your comments. If you don't like it, we want to hear that too. We'll be back soon with another one, so hit subscribe so you don't miss it.